Hello, welcome to Course Grids. And this is basically how to read the course grid and other tips and tricks for it. So these are the table of contents of what we're gonna talk about in this video. So there is what each column means, how to filter for certain courses, sublistings, breakdowns of days, rooms, comments, and prerequisites. Coursicle and free college schedule maker, which are two easy ways to see what your schedule would look like, balancing your classes, backup classes, and rate my professor. So first off, we're going to start up with what each column means. So here we have what one of the courses would look like, and you see all the different columns. So the first column is the CRN, which is really important for registration purposes. You would need that code to register for that specific class. The course number, which just shows what the course number is, basically. The SC, which is the section. So sometimes classes have multiple sections for it. The title of the class, the attribute, which is the PLS requirement it would fulfill if you took that class. For example, for principles of accounting, it doesn't have an attribute, but some of the other classes will have them. The units of basically how many units you would receive if you did this course. The cap, which is the amount of students that they will allow into the class. And the enrolled, which is how many students are currently enrolled in the class. The instructor, which is the professor. The days of the week that the class meets for, the times that it meets at, the room, which I'll show you later of how you would find that room prior to your first day of classes. And then the comments and prerequisites we'll go further into. For example, in this section, it says you must register for discussion section, not recommended for first semester students. And then the perm only is that if it says N, which means that you do not need permission to get into class. But sometimes it will say a Y, which means that you would need to ask for permission and contact the professor to ask permission to be allowed into the class. Next, we have how to filter for certain courses, which I'll quickly show in this video. So I've pulled up what the course grid looks like for fall of 2022. For example, most of the time, it's really helpful to look at the attribute part. Like if, for example, if you were trying to search up the LP requirement, and you're trying to figure out what you want to take in order to fulfill that requirement, you could do that. You could search for certain course numbers if you're looking for a specific one. Yeah, either one of those would really work, and you could use whatever you want to filter in each of these. So next we have sublistings. These sublistings over here are basically the undergraduate, which means that if you click on that, it would show only the undergraduate courses, and you want to kind of stay in that one because you don't want to really sign up for graduate courses. You can search up the first year intensive, which is your FYI course, and it'll show the whole listings of the different FYI courses there are for this semester. The courses with seats remaining that are open, which means those that have courses that can have spots still there, and you could register for those courses. And there's a PLS, DI, and POP, which is the different attributes and stuff if you just want to see all of them. So next we have the breakdown of days, rooms, and comments and prerequisites. So these are the days for classes. So these are the different symbols or letters that represent each day of the class. The one that most people get tripped up on is Thursday, which is the R. For rooms, this is a quick, easy link to find out where your room is and what it looks like. For example, this is also a good practice to find where your classes are before the first day. And so if you click on this link, it will show you the different halls that your class might be in. For example, BP means biophysics. Geography would be the geography department. JC is the Jonas Clark. If you see Jeff, it's Jefferson Hall, and there's a bunch of other ones. And you can click on to each one of these and see the different classes that are in these. And then the comments and prerequisites. You want to be sure to look at this section because you cannot register for certain classes if you have not yet fulfilled the requirements. For example, if we look here, for this section for management accounting, you have to take the prerequisites is that you take management or accounting 101, and it's for sophomore, juniors, and seniors only. And there are several different ones for it. For example, there are some that says lab fees that you'll have to pay for those, and different interest, really important notes. Now we go back and look at Coursicle and Free College Schedule Maker. So these are the two links for each of them. For Coursicle, this is really helpful for if you just want an easy way to find it. You can search up Clark and you can search up, for example, Chem 101, and it'll show the different sections for it. You can just add it to it, pick a schedule fall of 2022, and just see what your schedule looks like with that. And it will just plan it for you. Free College Schedule Maker, on the other hand, is more manual, and you have to enter the stuff for yourself. Now that we're going back. Balancing your classes. So be sure to take into account when you're planning your classes about the course load for each class. For example, if you have Chem 101, Biology 101, and some other like computer science, that might be a really heavy load for your first semester, and you want to balance that out because there are other chances where you can take those classes. You want to install breaks in between your classes because it can get really exhausting, like including nap times or just taking a break. Meal times, so if you eat a certain amount of meals per day, you want to include that in your schedule so that you have planned time for a meal and you're making sure that you're feeding yourself. Homework and study times, there you would just have to plan your own time to do homework in the library or in another space. Clubs and extracurricular activities, each club has their own meeting time, so it is not set in stone until the semester starts. So you want to leave some time, especially in the evenings, for those activities. Social time with friends, you obviously want to hang out with your friends and make new friends during your first semester. So that is a really helpful way to put it into your schedule. Office hours, it's really important to go to office hours when you meet your professors and just get to know them. It will create a connection with them, which will help you later on. If you want to go to the gym, you can want to also put into consideration of the time you go to there. So you have some time planned out in your schedule. Self-care, which is really important. And you just want to make sure you're not burning yourself out too fast. And there's more different other things that you want to plan out for if you have athletics or another or job that you want to put in and everything like that. Next up is backup classes. So it is important to have backup classes because classes can fill up quickly during registration, and you might not get to have your first choice classes. So registration is really hectic, and so you want to be as quick as possible. And sometimes the site crashes and everything, so you just want to make sure you have those backup classes in case that happens. So Rate My Professor. Rate My Professor is a useful tool because most of the time you can find your professor that you're taking the class for. through this website, and you can see other students' reviews and see what their experience with that professor was like. And you can find that on the course grid and just search their name up. And most of the time they'll have it there. If there are a more newer professor, they might not have it yet, but it's a great way to see what the professor is like. And yeah, if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, feel free to email us at orientation@clarku.edu. And this is it for this video. Bye.